And so it's like there's no way that we can stop the storm. You know what I mean? Like, there's nothing we can do to stop the storm. We just know that the storm will pass. And we give the outcome to the infinite. And that's how we need to be with these temporary states. This video is finding you because you are scared. And I want to talk about that. This video is finding you because you're scared, you're anxious, you're worried, and your nervous system is tired of performing worthiness, tired of just exhausted. You're tired of acting like it's all good and you have your internal world is all right. You've been working on something, manifesting something, looking or trying to, feeling like, this is right now for me. This is right now for me. Happening right now. You've been feeling alignment. You've been operating and living from your desired state, you've been living in the end, okay? And right now the pressure is on. And you're just tired. Somewhere along the way, we got the understanding that we have to be better than human. We have to feel only good things in order to be visible to the invisible. And that's not true. And we know that because we've been a human for as long as we've been human. And I'm willing to bet that things have worked out, things have manifested. You've received answers, solutions, miracles, prayers have been answered. So we know that somewhere along the line we made the assumption that we have to be the light. Even though God created us to have both. You consider in the Bible the story or the scripture that says when two become one, He will say to the mountain, move, and it will move. And there's so many interpretations of what this two is. And we see the symbolism, right? The light and the dark, the good and the not so good, and yin and yang. And I really I heard in my mind, I saw me recording this video and I heard record this video because where do we get this assumption from? We listen to other people's testimonies And, we think of Neville and Joseph Murphy and Florence and, Alan Watts, Ernest Holmes, all those guys. And we just think that because we hear them, our mind is saturated with their words and the books and the lectures, and we hear them, and we just think that, even with Jesus, we just think that they had it all together, that there was no wavering, no doubt. And so in our minds, we just assume, like, gotta move away from fear, gotta move away from anxiety, gotta move away from doubt and uncertainty, because we don't want to be guilty by association. We don't want to be associated with an off day. We're so concerned about our energetic signature and, or our aura, or are we flying high on the flying disc? And that's no shade. I love Abraham Esther Hicks, and I absolutely am on that disc. You know what I mean? Consistently. But then there are moments where we just can't see it, and something triggers us, which is, in my opinion, good, or something moves us, and it activates an old story in our nervous system. And, like, the best thing, if you are, if you've been on this journey of self-evolution and you're returning home to yourself, if you've been on this journey for a while, you're probably really good at staying outside of the story, but it still is like, you can still feel it. And we know that it comes up so that we can release it. But there's still this kind of, like, inner movement where, like, there's this inner movement where we're trying to quickly get away from that. Like, how do I fix it? How do I release it? How do I solve it? How do I, shadow work? Gotta get it out. Gotta get it done. Because it's really just kind of like, if you're sitting in your house and you see that you got a bunch of ants or a bunch of flies, it's like, we can say that's God, that's source, and we could look at the symbolism of it, but we're going to be trying to, like, okay, it doesn't belong here. And so we are really rejecting a part of ourselves. We're saying, these feelings, they don't belong here. They need to be casted out. Got to cast this burden. It's like, some of us are performing exorcisms. You know what I mean? Like, even like at that ritual level, like, cast this demon out. The dark is bad. But it's like, and even, in science, I forget who I heard say this, but I know that I read that even in science, that we know that some resistance is fine. Like, some resistance is required. Almost, yeah, like, resistance is required. And, like, I'm not saying that we need to listen to identify with these feelings and become these feelings. But it's also not wise to push it away. I remember when I was first experiencing debilitating anxiety, I had listened to the Anxiety Guy on YouTube. And he is awesome, an awesome resource. What's his name? Dennis Simsek? Yeah, I don't know. I think that's it. But one of the things that he said was, like, if you're trying to get rid of it, everything in your system is saying that this is a problem. But even on the spiritual level, it is self-rejection. And if you're rejecting yourself, if you're like, if any part of even in our psyche, in our body, is this kind of, like, resistance is just not the way. it's kind of like, yeah, so when you in your body you're trying to push something away, we are treating it as if it's dangerous, as if it's a threat, as if it's a problem. And what do we feel that these feelings are threatening? An answer: God's love, support from the universe, divine guidance. So it's like when we listen to the people we love and look up to, and even the people whose testimonies that cross our path, they had dark nights of the soul too. I guarantee it. They struggled also. They had dark, doubts. They had self-doubt. They had a hard time trusting. And so it's like there's no way that we can stop the storm. You know what I mean? Like, there's nothing we can do to stop the storm. We just know that the storm will pass. And we give the outcome to the infinite. And that's how we need to be with these temporary states. That's how we have to be with these emotions. And even if they're okay, like, and even me calling it temporary, that is, well, in part it is temporary. All these emotions are temporary, but it shouldn't be pushed away. And we're pushing it away because we think that those people who did the things or have the things that we're looking to experience in our life, we have this assumption that the what is it, the formula that they gave is so limited. Like, they're not telling the true story. They say all the things that they did that work for them, and some of them are probably doing it, telling the fullness and the truth. That's how some of them probably are. But like, even in my mind, I'm just thinking about like how I'm just like, oh well, what would so and so do? What did so and so do? They didn't say anything about this. And then we start to think that something's wrong, and we're just like, go away. We're pushing it away. No. What we need to do is locate our grounding statement for the storm. And for me, it is, I am safe here, but I'm afraid. I'm scared. This looks scary from where I'm currently at. I don't know how this is going to happen. I've been disappointed in the past. I've been let down before, and that really hurt me. So I understand why I feel the way that I feel. And I am choosing to not identify with that. And I'm choosing not to abandon myself. That I can feel this way. And what I realized is that the intensity of like the sensations that I was feeling was not because I was doubtful or fearful. The intensity of the way I was feeling was because I didn't want to feel doubtful. I didn't want to feel fearful. Because I had come up with this assumption that I am only worthy if I am performing at that level. I am only worthy when I'm speaking, you know what I'm saying, from this absolute place of knowing. But all parts of us, all parts of you are important. All parts of you want the same thing. One believes and one doesn't. And so the grounding statement is, I partly believe, partially, I mostly believe, but some part of me is still not sure. And that's okay. I know that I'm right where I'm supposed to be. I know that those who have succeeded have experienced exactly what I'm experiencing. I know that part of this, well, first of all, this that I'm talking about right now, that is integration. That is integration. Instead of pushing what we are assuming to be the lesser parts of us, less desirable, you know what I'm saying, less magnetic, what is it, less perceivable by the invisible field, right? So, in other words, when you are feeling not your best, those are just feelings, but you can feel them. And your feelings do not interfere with the unconditional love of the universe, of God. It doesn't make you less worthy. It doesn't make you less visible. That's not how unconditional works. And you can look to the stories in the Bible for all the evidences. And like I said, there's evidence everywhere of what I'm saying. We have to stop treating these parts of us as if experiencing them, feeling them, disqualifies us. It doesn't disqualify you. You're supposed to feel that. It's coming up for you to feel it and release it. Release it with, I don't fully identify with that anymore. How about that? Like there was a point in time where you wouldn't even be thinking outside of this feeling. And you are, which means that you no longer identify with that. And you feeling it, whatever it is that you're feeling, for me it's fear, doubt, insecurity, and anxiety. Me feeling it is not the absence of faith. Is not the absence of, because my faith is there, and me feeling this feeling does not get me kicked out of my faith, which is the assumption that makes us push it away. We all want to be, you know what I mean, high vibrating and ethereal and superhuman, and we are. And we are human. We are light and we are shadow. And both parts work together for our good. We have to get really good at trusting our inner guidance, our bodies, our systems, our guides, with healing it without interfering with our judgment. It's good to feel this way, it's bad to feel this way. Our judgment is just prolonging, it's just keeping us in suffering. When very quickly, I mean, it could be done, because I have been for the last 2 days imagining bad things. Well, things I don't want. And really just trying to force myself not to imagine them. Like, nope, that's just imagining. Like, really just trying not to be associated with it. Like, nope, I don't think that. I'm thinking that, but that's not me. Like, really just like, I don't know her. I don't want nothing to do with her. That's not her. That's not me. And that has been going on for just 2 days, but when you are in that, and it feels like forever. And then I was guided to just be like, okay, what? Like, and what's so crazy is in my guidance, it was like, I'm not telling you, my guidance system said to me, I'm not telling you to give up. I want you to say what you're feeling as one who is observing and aware. Like, just tell me, like, I'm not asking you, that's like, Like, let's say that there's a tornado or some really bad storm. I'm not asking you to go throw yourself in the storm, in the tornado. I'm just saying there's a storm going on and it will pass and I will be here after. Your negative feelings, your low vibrating feelings serve a purpose. What we're going to see is that even in, just like the other people's stories, what we're going to see is that even in those feelings, God has a way. God makes a way. God is greater. God is more powerful. That those things don't matter. They're just for you to feel in the experience, like for the experience of feeling. I don't really know. But I mean, not from right here. I'm sure I would know. Not so. But the biggest part was I was trying to push away these feelings because I'm thinking to myself, like, they didn't do this. They didn't have this. It wasn't this hard. And I'm looking around, like trying to convince myself of certainty, trying to convince, and from where I was, from the state that I was in, I'm like, I'm not that certain right now. This looks insane. And I am like, I don't have, like, just emotionally exhausted and tired of performing. And so if you are there right now, you're in the best place you can be. And we just need to set ourselves free by realizing that us acknowledging what we are aware of feeling does not mean powerlessness or weakness. It does equal vulnerability. But our connection is still strong. We are not disconnected when we are feeling these things. And we are not even in a lesser place. That's how I used to see it. High vibrating, low vibrating. High flying disc, low flying disc. And it's like, that has a place and serves a purpose in this. I want to thank you so much for listening. It really means so much to me that I was able to come on here today and make this live. I'm not recording this live, but it's live and I am living this right now. And we do not need to be perfect. Otherwise, the genius would have made us perfect. You know? And we are perfect. And you know what I mean? Like, and so to end the suffering, find your grounding statement and just acknowledge, instead of pushing it away and making it threatening, acknowledge whatever that thing is. Don't try to manifest it away. Don't try to heal it away. The healing part is accepting it, and not as your identity, but as a lived and felt experience in you. Like, hey, you know what? I'm usually badass, but right now, oh, I'm chicken. Like, you know, and there's nothing wrong with that because God is still going to show out for you either way. So again, thank you so much for being here with me, growing this community. It means everything that I can share this and have this with you. If it is on your heart to support this channel, you already know what to do. Check out the description, comment, what are you going through? Like, how did this message resonate? And I'm sorry, I'm outside. How did this message resonate? And just go ahead and say it. Like, let's set ourselves free. We never, okay? We're not going to be disqualified because we are feeling the feeling of fear. as long as we don't identify with it. Like, we can still say that I know that this is not all that I am, or whatever your grounding statement is. So comment what you're going through. I want you to let something go, set someone free, forgive yourself, forgive God. Say it with your chest that I don't really trust this right now, and be okay. And come back for more videos, and be well.